Okay, Darren, let's go back in time to the day you found out you had brain cancer, like the actual day at the hospital, laying in that bed. What was the first thought that went through your head?
Obviously, there's a little bit of shock, but I was kind of prepared for it because of the way that I was feeling. And I think you
Yeah.
knew that because, first of all, I told my doctor, my general practitioner, he's like, "What's going on, Darren?" And I said, "I think I have brain cancer." And he kind of joked, he's like, "There's a 99% chance you don't have brain cancer." And I'm like, well, there's got to be some sort of explanation. Um,
Explanation.
yeah, as to I couldn't figure out why else I would have this kind of thing. So, because what was I, 36?
Yeah.
At 36, I'm like, my brain should be functioning very good.
Yeah, and so here's the deal. First of all, he never told me that he thought he had brain cancer. He was just told me one day that he was having a hard time writing emails. Like
Yeah,
his brain was not working properly. So he went to the doctor and the doctor just happened to schedule this MRI in the middle of the night. We won't go into the whole history of it because we have episodes on that you can go back and listen. But he at this MRI at the hospital, it's 9 o'clock at night. Typically you leave and you get your results in like a week. Well, they escorted us up to the ER. And all of a sudden, three doctors walked in and said, "We found a mass on your brain."
yeah,
And I looked at Darren, and he had never told me. He never said to me, "Oh, my doctor," or "I told my doctor I think it's brain cancer." Darren never said those words to me. So when those words came out of the doctor's mouth, for me, it was complete shock. I remember I got
yeah,
violently ill in the bathroom, but I looked at Darren and I was like, how is he handling this so well? Like he didn't look fearful. He looked very stoic, like, okay, all right. And they wanted him to stay the night because his brain was there was so much swelling that they were actually surprised he walked in there and hadn't had a seizure. And Darren was a pharmacist and he said, "No, I need to go home. I need to make some decisions. Give me a big dose of Decadron." And we went home. So literally, Darren is truthful in the fact that I did not see fear in his eyes. In fact, we get back to our house and I look at him and he's sound asleep snoring. And I'm just laying there wide awake, like in shock, because I think our worlds are over. I mean, I think like I'm going to lose him. You are in your mid 30s and your husband gets diagnosed with brain cancer. And back then, we didn't have social media. We didn't know like how, I mean, cancer is so common now.
yeah.
And there's so much like treatment and things we can do and people surviving against all odds. Like there's so much hope out there. But back then, we were so young. I just thought I was going to lose him. So I was deathly afraid, but you were really stoic. It was kind of wild.
Yeah, and the reason is because I suspected it already.
Right.
I was already
And I didn't know
prepared.
that.
Yeah, I didn't understand like the grading system. So I didn't
Right.
know what was a grade 4 and so when they initially said you have a grade 4 and then we found out that it was a grade 2.
Oh,
Uh,
right.
so there was a lot of we were a little bit we didn't really we weren't prepared. Let's say
Yeah,
that.
it was interestingly enough, this is kind of crazy. This is why one of the tips we're going to give you, and we'll get into that in a minute, but I will tell you, like, what was said to us in the beginning was shocking that a doctor actually said that he has 18 months to live before ever getting into his brain was shocking to me because
Yeah.
you never know until you get in there, until the pathology comes back, then you know what you're dealing with and up against. But this doctor told us before he even performed brain surgery that Darren had 18 months to live, which was shocking. And that wasn't the case. We learned so much after the fact. So it was like after he had that surgery, then I was like, okay, we can do this. I want to take you back now to my diagnosis day. So Darren and I are going to go a little back and forth. Darren was diagnosed, like we just talked about, it was 2009, and mine was 2021. And he had three brain surgeries. So we'll go into a little bit of that. But my diagnosis day was different. He was stoic. I was a literal mess.
Yeah.
So I went in for a repeat mammogram, ultrasound, and then all of a sudden if you see the doctor, you know that's not a good sign. So the doctor came in with these really sad eyes and he said, "We're suspecting this might be cancer," and asked me if I had any questions. And I was like, "No, I'm good." I wanted to get home because I didn't believe it. I still thought there is no way that I have cancer. There's no way. Like, how can husband and wife both have cancer? This isn't even possible.
Yeah.
And I even called my friend who had just gone through it. And she was telling me, yeah, well, at least they didn't call you right back then and there to do a biopsy. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. True. I'm fine.
Mhm.
So I get home and I remember I'm sitting on my fireplace. There was this ledge of where the fireplace is, and I had my big, beautiful, warm coat on, and I was just talking to Darren and Drew, and took my coat off because the fireplace got hot. I won't forget this moment. I'll tell you why in a second.
Obviously.
But but so I get the phone call, and it's the nurse, and she said, "Hey, I the doctor looked again at your scan, and he's very concerned. This really does look like cancer. So we need you back ASAP first thing in the morning." And I was like, right then and there, I knew it was bad. I cried my face off. I was a mess. I remember we sat in this our little sitting area. Darren poured me a glass of wine. Listen, I know that's not great, but that's how we coped back in those
There's
days.
enough. I,
This
I
is
guarantee everybody in the world, when they get diagnosed, has a glass of wine.
Maybe not, because this was back in the day before I made a lot of changes that before my diagnosis, we were drinking, almost nightly. Not like a drinking problem, but
Right.
a
Right.
lot, 4 or 5 times out of the week. So, but I obviously drank too much wine, cried my face off, didn't have lashes on. If you know me, you know I wear lashes, and so I was a mess. And then, the reason why I brought up that I was sitting on the fireplace is and took my nice, beautiful jacket off there, all of a sudden, in the midst of crying, like an hour into it and a couple glasses of wine and a mess, I started smelling something really weird, and it was my jacket burning. Do you remember
Yes.
that?
Yeah. You know how much it costs to refix that jacket,
I
right?
know, I was
You melted
so it melted it, but guess what? It was fixed, which is kind of mind-blowing. Anyway, so my diagnosis day, I was very emotional, and then I did pull myself together. So what was it like? Let's go back to you, Darren. We're gonna go back to your diagnosis. What was it like in the days after your diagnosis? Like, what were you managing well? What were you not managing well? Like, how did you feel in those first few days?
Are you talking about before the surgery?
Yes.
Um, I think a lot of people would like freak out. Like I just didn't freak out because I was kind of prepared. That I when you know that there's really something wrong and you can feel it, I wasn't surprised. So I think I
Mhm.
may have already prepared for it. I'm
And
not sure, but I think that's why I was so
did you,
stoked.
like, get into were you, like, praying more? Did you ever, like, cry in the shower? Was there ever any fear?
I've cried in the shower. Like that's if I'm gonna cry, I cry in the shower
It's a
for
great
real.
place to cry. It's a great place to
We could
cry.
talk about this like in another episode, but like how I deal with accepting my diagnosis.
Yeah,
Diagnosis.
no, I wanted to that's what we're talking about today. Like, that's what I want you to share.
Right now,
Yes.
okay. I process things, and I'm not afraid of it, but I like to go through the emotions every day, recognize what I have, and then move on.
Yeah.
But now I don't. But I would
Yeah.
say for the like 2 years, I recognized it every single day.
Yeah. I get it. I will say this too. Darren has always had this attitude of, yeah, that's not going to happen to me.
Right.
Which is wild to me. I remember when we were sitting in that office, this was before the surgery, and the doctor was saying he had 18 months to live because Darren said, "What's my prognosis?" And he still sat there stoic and he said, "Well, that's not going to happen to me because I've got young kids." And like, it was so matter of fact for you. It's kind of wild. And so that's amazing. Okay, what about, let's change it. What about when I got my diagnosis? Like, it was a confirmed diagnosis, confirmed your wife has breast cancer. What was going through your mind?
I didn't believe it, and I think you knew that I didn't believe it. You know what I mean?
Maybe it was that you didn't accept it.
I didn't accept it. I was more like super hopeful. I'm like, there's no way, like there's a mistake. So it probably took me like 2 or 3 days to really understand.
Did you think that, like, do you think there was ever moments where you kind of forgot that I had breast cancer and that I was going through it?
Yes, but it was the reasoning is because I still didn't accept it for you.
Mhm.
I mean, I
Which
don't
is
even know how long I denied it. Just I'm like, oh, everything's going to be just fine.
yeah.
And in the meanwhile, I was almost like not forgetting about you, but I was still in denial.
Yeah, I could feel that.
And I'm sorry about that. I mean, it's like I just
It's
couldn't believe it.
interesting. Okay, let me tell you guys, this has never come up before, ever.
Yeah, that's true.
And this has been hard for me because I did feel a little bit alone in my diagnosis. Like, and so I never even was thinking that you would even think that. So anyway, but yeah, no, it did. I would think that he would sometimes forget, and I do think that you wouldn't accept it. And in that, so many women, they feel alone in it. And I think that definitely that was a struggle. And not that you didn't try, like you did, and you were there for me a lot of times, but it did feel like I was very much alone in it.
Yeah, and I always tried to keep things normal for you. Like I tried to just pretend that in it, I didn't realize that you needed that support,
Yeah.
because I was kind of different where you were there for me. You were on top of me all the time when I was sick. And I don't think because I didn't accept it, I don't think I was there enough for you.
Wow, we're having like a true therapy session right
I
now.
know.
It's all coming out on the table. But I do think that, yeah, I go back, I joke around that I could perform brain surgery because I knew everything and I was like
You could.
I was his biggest advocate. And I feel like that was missing. And I don't think it was because you meant it. I think it is also Darren has a different attitude than me. He's like, I'm gonna be fine, right?
Yeah.
And I actually just did an Instagram that of all the things that people say to you that can be really hard to hear when you're newly diagnosed, like, you're going to be fine. This was given to you for a reason. You're so strong. Like all those things. And you're like, no, I don't feel strong.
Right.
No, I don't want this. Like, and I think that you were trying to get me out of it, but I needed to be in it. I needed to
Yeah.
feel, and I needed somebody, like, sometimes we just need somebody to listen and that we can cry to and like, "No, it's not gonna be okay. This is not okay for me right now." I
Yeah.
remember because, he would say always, this is before my diagnosis, he would always say, it's a gift. Cancer's been a gift to me because it changed who I was. And he would say that to me. Remember, honey, cancer's a gift. And I'm like, no, it's not. Not
Yeah.
to me.
And I think
And
see, that's really probably bad of me because I think you wanted to not wallow in it, but you know what I mean? Like
yeah, I
you
wanted
wanted
to.
to you wanted to go through everything and
And it's not
really
bad.
no, it's not bad.
It's not, it's just how, so this is the problem. And this is why I have my community, to be honest. This is why I
Yeah.
have my community of women who've gone through breast cancer because we need that support. And if you want to join the community, it's in the show notes. But people don't know unless they are literally in your shoes how you're feeling. Unless
Mhm.
they're in your body, they don't know. And a lot of it is not meant to be mean or to harm you or hurt you. It's that they just don't know what's right or wrong or how you're feeling. And not that you meant any of that, Darren, but it's just interesting. I didn't even expect our episode to go this way, so it's interesting that this all came up.
Jen,
I appreciate that. Now I wanna go back to, like, looking at cancer, like, is there something in those first few weeks or month after your diagnosis that you would tell yourself not to do? I mean, I have a bunch for me, but for you,
yeah.
is there anything that you're like, "Gosh, I wish I would have done this differently?"
The thing I would have done differently is did more well I was should have went to a better doctor. I should have like went
For
to
you.
MD Anderson prior to my first surgery. because
Agreed.
with brain cancer, they didn't have the technology back then. Well, I think they did, but they didn't have it in our area.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so when they're like, you should have went to MD Anderson in the first place.
Yeah.
But because it was like a little starter surgery, I didn't have any. Did I have? I didn't have any chemo, did I?
No,
At
we
that
didn't do
point?
anything. We didn't know what we were doing. You probably
Yeah,
would have back in the day if we would have
yeah,
gone to the right doctor, to be honest. No, and that is one of the things that we'll talk about here in a little bit. But no, I definitely think that I wish we would have done that differently for your first surgery.
yeah,
For me, it was, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is I was reacting out of fear instead of being informed. Like, I remember laying on the couch, for Darren, I was his advocate. Other than that
yeah,
first one, I learned a lot, but I was his advocate. We got the best team, we got the best doctors. I was there, I was on top of it. I was researching, I was taking notes. I was like all of those things I was doing for him. And then I remember laying on the couch, I'd gotten that call that, here's your team of doctors. And I just accepted it. And I just remember like the next day just laying on the couch, like in a complete funk and depression. Like, I cannot believe this is happening to me. And I thought, why am I laying here and just accepting what was handed to me and
mm,
not researching to make sure that this team of doctors is the best of the best? And so I got to work and I started like looking at everything. And then I think the other thing that, we talk about a lot is that and this is down the road, not in the beginning days, but I started controlling everything and became obsessed with it and
yeah.
got stuck in that cancer bubble. What did I do that drove you a little bit crazy?
Well, it drove me crazy because I felt bad for you.
What
Because
drove you? Which part of it? Oh, my
um,
obsessiveness?
yes, like with the eating thing, like you wouldn't put anything in your body that, like, we would go to a family dinner, and you wouldn't eat anything
I know
because
I was such a freak.
yeah,
I was a
I don't
freak,
know how
a
to say
freak,
it,
freak.
but even like your sister, we were concerned about that.
Yeah, and we talk about that quite a bit. So just be careful, and listen, I'm still like I still do eat healthy 95% of the time, but I also have relaxed on a lot of it.
Yeah, you will have.
W- What's the funniest or most absurd thing that happened in the middle of it all with you? Like something that was so bizarre that that we had to laugh.
The one thing that I continue to do is when I'm going to wash my face, it's a 50-50 shot that I'm going to screw it up. So I'll sit there and I will be contemplating. I'm like, what is the next move I'm supposed to do?
There's been way worse. Like, what about when you almost peed in the sink?
That's happened
I
multiple
mean, he's stolen things out of Target and Home Depot on accident, like not on purpose. Like he's walking out, forgets to check out. Like the things that he's done, and we just look at each other and laugh. Thank God you have such a good attitude about that.
thing that I did that was the most shocking. I was
Yeah.
at Home Depot and I bought a ladder, like a really big ladder, and I just walked out. And
You
nobody
didn't
even
buy
like
it. You didn't buy it. You
I
just
didn't buy
walked
it. I
out.
just walked out with a big, huge ladder. And then finally, I'm like, I got to take this back. They don't even know I stole it.
But you were still in the parking lot.
Yes. But I
Yeah.
was in my car and then I had to stop and
Yeah.
be like, whoa.
So funny.
Whereas on the other
Okay.
time, when I stole from Target, they were like, you're going to arrest me.
No, they weren't.
No,
But they
but
did
remember,
talk.
there was people that came up to me and they're like, did you pay for that? And I had to like explain like my
Yeah,
brain.
no, I know. Oh, but you have a really good excuse. All you have to do is show your scar on your head.
It is an advantage.
It is. All right, let's dive into the things we'd actually tell ourselves. In fact, but I will tell you the whole Darren mishaps. I feel like, will you let me know on Instagram? Just message me if you want us to do a whole episode on all of his mishaps. We have a whole bunch. Like it could be a whole thing of the
Yeah.
craziest things that you've done.
I think my most crazy thing was when I vanilla iced my eyebrow. Remember, I
Yeah.
was shaving,
I
and I'm
think
like,
you
I don't know what to do, so I shaved my eyebrow.
there's been so many more things, so many more things. Okay, let's talk about what we would actually tell ourselves. Like, what would I say to the person that's listening right now, you just get that diagnosis, how would I prepare you? I would first say this time right now, the waiting is literally the hardest part. I mean, maybe not the hardest, but one of the hardest. Like, it's that in between where you're like so scared, you don't know what's about to happen. And you're just like, the days seem like they're weeks long. Like, you just want a plan. And when you get that plan, it does get
Mhm.
easier. But so just understand that this time, this waiting is difficult. Make
Yeah.
plans, get outside, maybe start diving into a little bit on nutrition, maybe adding in some more fruits and vegetables. Like, what can you do in this waiting time? Don't get in the Google or getting on Reddit or
That's
trying
the
like
worst thing.
the worst thing to do. Stay off of that. Remember that stats lie. I mean, Darren is a walking miracle. He's currently dealing with grade 4 brain cancer since that diagnosis was 2019. Like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? If you look at the stats on that, like, stats lie. We're all unique. We're all different. So don't even go there. And
Yeah.
then remember, 9 times out of 10, we have time. So try not to react out of fear. Get the best team. That is the most important thing you can
Yeah.
do, is getting the best team of doctors. So
Hmm.
spend some time there and get second and third opinions. If they were in your shoes, they would be doing the same thing. I think sometimes we feel like, "Oh my gosh, I don't wanna, like, offend this doctor."
Right.
They're not offended. They understand, and they would be doing the exact same thing if they were in your shoes. And when I think you have
Some of them though are offended because they think that, they're
some
not.
are, but then that's probably not the right doctor.
Right, exactly.
But the ones that aren't like that, they can respect it. And the other thing about getting a second and third opinion, it gets you on the right path because you're like, okay, 2 or 3 doctors agree with this path, so I feel very confident with the decision I'm making.
Yeah.
Trust your instincts. I love doctors. Doctors are unbelievable and they are amazing and they save our lives every single day, but they also don't know it all. And when your gut, when your instincts are screaming at you, listen to that. Pay attention. Darren, I stopped one of Darren's brain surgeries. This was
You
after,
saved my life twice.
yeah, I
Yeah.
saved his life. So after Darren's second brain surgery, so this was 2011.
Yeah.
He had a lot of complications after that surgery, a couple strokes, like, he was a mess, and he had an infection on the site of where his tumor was. And so doctors here wanted to operate and perform another brain surgery where they were to remove part of his cranium, sew him back up, and then in like a year do another surgery where they replace with a titanium plate.
Yeah, so for a
And
year though, they wanted me to just keep nothing on it. Like I would have had a big sunken thing, so there was no skull there for a year. That's what they wanted
right.
to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kinda crazy. Darren had been in the hospital for about a month at this point. Like, there were so many things, and he was basically like, do you remember the show House? He was basically a house patient where they could not figure out what was going on with him. We had people from MD Anderson involved. We had, like, it was a lot of back and forth, and so so all of a sudden I went in that morning. Every morning I'd be there first thing. I would leave at the end of the night, like, and he would sleep there. I'd go home with the kids. But that morning when I got there, Darren's like, "Surgery's at 1." I was like, "What surgery?" And he's like, "They're gonna remove the titanium, or remove my cranium." And I'm like, "No, they're not." I called the nurse,
Mm.
and interestingly enough, Darren is a pharmacist, and he is usually like, "Jen, we need to listen to the doctors." And when I said, "No, they are not," you looked at me with almost like, "Thank God she's here to do this." Like, you were very happy I was making this decision. I called the nurse. I said, "This surgery is not happening. You can tell the doctor. No way." And so the doctor came up and said basically, if Darren leaves here, he could die. And I said, "No, I know he won't. I think if he has a surgery, he will die.
Yeah.
He is not healthy enough. He is not okay to do the surgery." And he was on a really high dose of antibiotics to help this infection, and he was doing really well. Like, I had seen him in 2 days, improving so much. Like, there was a month I didn't know who he was, and all of a sudden, for, like, 48 hours, I could see Darren coming alive again, and I was like, "He's doing so good," and I trusted this path, and the surgeon fired us. He was like, "I can no longer be your doctor." We're like, "Okay."
I've
And
never
then it was
been.
interesting. I know we got fired. Interestingly enough, we talked to MD Anderson and they quickly got a hold of us. They said, "Please tell us you did not do the surgery." I said, "We did not do the surgery." And they were like, "Thank God."
Well, at that
So
time, remember, I had given up. It was a month that I was in the hospital, and I was in like so much pain and just like I was starting to give up. So when they said you're going in for surgery, I'm like, whatever. Like I'm just done with it. You do whatever you need to do. And thankfully, and I mean, I owe Jenny so much because she stopped that surgery. That would have killed me. I mean,
I
there's
think it would
like
have.
100% chance that I would have died.
I
And
really think you would have too. I didn't think you were going to come out of that.
yeah, but the
And
fact that you stepped up because I was so, like I said, so done with it. I'm like, cancer sucks right now. Like, I just don't want it anymore. Or,
yeah,
yeah,
no, it was rough. And I knew that he wouldn't have survived it. So I stepped in. And so this was me trusting my instincts, going against everything that doctor said to me because I knew in my heart of hearts, like there was no question in my mind that I wasn't doing the right thing. There was nothing in my head that was saying, "Oh my gosh, Jen, but this doctor's saying this." I was like, "Nope, adamant, this is not happening."
yeah,
So I know that's like kind of massive, but really trust your instincts. If you go into a doctor's office and something is uncomfortable, something doesn't seem right, a plan doesn't seem right to you, like go get another doctor. 9 times out of 10, you have time. It is
that's true.
typically not an urgent situation. Yes, there are situations that are more urgent. 9 times out of 10, it is not. So take the time if your bells are going off to do your work and really figure out what is the right thing for you. The other thing that I think is doing small things to bring yourself back to yourself. We're in this fight or flight when we get that diagnosis, like fight or flight. And we are living in fear. So even little moments throughout the day where you're just like stepping outside, looking at the world around you, maybe trying to meditate, like it saved me.
Hmm.
I was out of control fear. And until I started meditating, I was finally could feel some peace from that meditation, or maybe it's some breath work or listening to some music or talking to a friend on the phone or prayer, whatever it is that gives you peace, go to that throughout the day.
Mm.
And then the other interesting piece is just to kind of give you a little forewarning, especially if you're in the beginning of it, or if you're feeling like you're not getting that support you thought you would. It's normal. It's actually sad and normal. Like, a lot of people that you think will show up for you are not there for you. I mean, Darren's best friend all of a sudden was gone. I
Vanished.
mean, vanished. Like, even family members Darren doesn't talk to because there was like the roller coasters of the emotions of a diagnosis. Like, it's kind of wild what happens and the people that show up and the people that don't. You're
Yeah,
going to learn a lot who your people are.
that's very true. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add to that list, Darren? Like, something that you would actually tell yourself or something that really helps you in the beginning?
I don't know if there's anything I would tell myself. The one thing I want to tell people is the way I viewed it. Like, I'm a better person now after the 3 brain surgeries, and I embraced every single surgery like it was kind of a like I'm lucky I have this because first of all, it's an experience that not a lot of people have brain surgeries. You know what I mean? And well, they do now. I mean, things are way different now, but I embraced it, and I'm like, man, they have no idea what it's like to get a brain infection. They have no
Yeah.
clue what it feels like, and so not to be mad about it, but I was like, this is kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like I'm experiencing something that nobody else experiences.
Okay, you might be unique in that feeling, okay?
Yeah, I think it is different.
I think it is so different because I think most of us, like, I get where you're going, like, looking back, like, I don't look at cancer as a gift. I would rather not go through any of it. I don't feel like I'm special because I went through it. I do feel like I see the blessings that have come from it, the people I
Mhm.
know, what I do now, like, it gave me purpose that I never knew I had. Like, I absolutely love helping women navigate this. I look at the world differently. I'm more present, like, little things matter to me, like, that they didn't before. So I get that part of it, but I definitely if I could go back and not want this, I don't know. Like, it is weird to think where I am now. Like, if you would have asked me right away at diagnosis, oh gosh, no, I do not want this. Like,
Yeah.
this was a serious thing for me because, we feel invincible, right? We feel like life is going to go on forever. And then when you hear the words cancer, you're like, wait a minute. Like, your life flashes before your eyes and you all of a sudden think life is over. And it does make you appreciate things much more. So there is that gift. I think there's a lot of people who live until they're 80 or 90 miserable because they don't have that understanding and that
Mhm.
gift.
The one thing with you though is because like how passionate you are about helping people, that's just in you, in the fact that you took this to the level that you've taken it and made it your mission. I mean, that is like so incredible that you do this. And a lot of people don't have that in them. And you're just a unique person that most people wouldn't
Appreciate
do
that,
that.
Darren. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
So,
Well, I feel like this was a great episode. I hope you took something from it. Before I let you go, if this episode gave you something today, I want to ask you to do one thing for me. If you could share it, send it to somebody who is sitting in that early season right now, someone who's just got that phone call, or maybe it's someone whose spouse just got the call, someone who's in the thick of it, who needs to hear that two people who were handed some of the hardest statistics imaginable are still here, still laughing,
yeah.
still going. You could be the reason they find this show, and that matters more than you know. So
Yeah.
just and always feel free to share this on your socials. You can tag me at Jen Delvaux. I read every single comment. We look at the show notes and we appreciate the reviews. So I can't thank you enough for doing that because I feel like when this gets shared, it gets to that woman who needs to see this.
Can they tag me? Okay. I
Sure,
want to see
tag
me.
Darren.
Yeah.
And
Tag me.
yeah, and Darren will be back. I've got a lot of great episodes ahead and interviews. Another survivor that'll be coming out this week. Darren will be back again probably next week or the week after. I appreciate you. Thank you as always. Not today, cancer.